Take as much as you want. You work for me now.
Just take the 2,000 we agreed upon.
You work with us. You work with the winners. Anything else is stupid.
I'll think about it.
What the hell are you holding back for? I don't play this style! What the hell are you holding back for?
His name's Smith. At least that's what he says.
This is Hickey. I told you about him.
Told me all about you. Been hearing about you all over town, actually. Especially like that orphanage story.
We tell you about all them little kids burning up like candles.
My favorite part.
You shot some of our guys.
I guess I did. The ones that deserved it.
Well, you got Finn. He's Doyle's best shooter.
I thought you were the best.
Nah, just the best looking.
Enough of this bullshit! This game is finished. Come on, we gotta talk.
I guess you better go talk.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Every town's got a bar, and the bar's got somebody that thinks he's tough as a nickel steak. But they all come to speed for the do-re-mi.
Now get this. We ain't partners, we ain't brothers, and we ain't friends.
My little brother was 15 years old. You think about that. You're way to hell.
How about cutting heads?
Oh, I get it. You want some kind of contest, huh?
You're a real smart boy, ain't you? I guess maybe you'll have to kill me. It'll hurt if I do.
Well, looks like I finally ran into someone that likes to play as rough as I do.
Yeah, this must be your lucky night. And my buddies, they're not nice like me.
Are we supposed to say thanks?
You're not supposed to say nothing, soldier.
I was coming through Texas on my way to Mexico. I needed some time to hide out. I should have known better. Didn't take too long before it started.
It's not a good idea to be looking at Mr. Doyle's girl that way.
I seem to remember a guy once told me this is a free country.
Now you're free to go.
2 bootlegging gangs from Chicago took over this town. You got Strozzi and the Italians on one side, and Doyle and his Irish boys on the other. Maybe I could make some money.
Well, you came to the right place, sir, because everybody here is making a lot of money.
His name's Smith. At least that's what he says.
Did you get that car of yours fixed yet?
I was hoping maybe you could help me pay the damages.
I guess maybe you'll have to kill me.
It'll hurt if I do.
How would you like to kill Strozzi? I figure you for the kind of guy who goes to the highest bidder.
$1,000, Mr. Doyle.
Nobody's worth that much. You shot some of our guys.
Yes, I did. Once it deserved it.
Mr. Doyle thought you and him had a deal.
Somehow I had the feeling the walls were moving in on me.
Now you've been going back and forth playing both sides, making yourself a lot of money out of all this.
For one little second you think you're gonna get away free and clear. You end up paying the price.
Kill him.
No exceptions. Everybody pays the price.
Hickey's coming directly for you. Don't be coming to me for help.
I came by to tell you I quit.
You don't quit me. Nobody quits me.
What you thinking about me when you're dying?
I'll be in hell waiting for you.
Nothing personal.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Last Call of Torchies. If you've been away a while, we have been too. This is your Walter Hill, the filmmaker, producer, writer, all that good stuff. Podcast all about his films. And with that, the usual group of degenerates, if you will, you know, coming through this dusty town to start some shit, if you will. Mr. Cameron Scott, how you doing?
I am doing fabulous, living in the Dust Bowl fucking era, ready to have a drink.
Cool. Lee Russell, how you doing, sir?
Trying my best not to get shot backwards 20 feet through a window. It's a dangerous town, but so far I'm doing all right.
Yeah, the town of Jericho is a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity it works so well, not like other towns in the old times like this, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I have some questions about how in this more modern era that this film's in, that two rival gangs could coexist in a small town like that, but I don't think we're dealing with much reality-based shit in this one.
Yeah, tonight we're talking about a favorite of Cameron's. I know. If you look at the show art, this is the character that he chose. And it, Last Man Standing from 1996. Yeah. Your cheapo plot synopsis for this one is a drifting gunslinger for hire finds himself in the middle of an ongoing war between the Irish and Italian mafia in a Prohibition era ghost town. So small, it's literally across the street from each other. So there's that. This is directed by Walter Hill. This is written by this is hard. Ryuzo Kikushima.
Nailed it.
Akira nailed it. Akira Kurosawa. I can pronounce that name. And Walter Hill. So the Asian influence is all over this fucking flick. We'll talk about that real soon. This stars Bruce Willis, first and last time in a Walter Hill film, I think.
Yeah.
As John Smith, your drifting gunman.
It's such an imaginative fucking name, too, by the way, John Smith.
John Smith, yes. Bruce Dern as Sheriff Ed Gates. Welcome back to the show again, Bruce Dern. William Sanderson, first time on the show as Joe Monday. Christopher Walken, first time on the show as Hickey. David Patrick Kelly back again as Sleaze once again as Doyle. Yes, indeed. Karina Lombard as Felina. Ned Eisenberg as of course, you ever Fredo in here? Come on, guys. It hurts my Italian feelings. I'm playing. I'm triggered.
I know it was you, Fredo. I knew it was you.
Oh my gosh. Go this way. Alexandra Powers is Lucy Kolinsky. Michael Imperioli, who I only know as Christopher, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
As Giorgio Carmonti. Ken Jacobs is Captain Tom Pickett. Leslie Mann, probably one of her first roles ever, shows up in this as Wanda. Looking good with that red hair.
Mm-hmm.
Some other folks, Patrick Kilpatrick, who I totally missed in this movie. Your consummate 90s bad guy is a consummate 90s bad guy in this movie too, as Finn.
Yep.
And then we get our man David Graff, who's also the stunt coordinator, shows up here as a heavy too, so that's pretty great too. This is truth be told, it's not my favorite of the bunch, but we're going with the whole Yojimbo theme because it's not that hard to do because a lot of folks have done Yojimbo and this is no exception. And I'm going to kick it to Cameron first since it's his one of his favorites. Thoughts on Last Man Standing, sir?
Oh, I fucking love this movie for all of its imperfections, maybe despite them or in spite of them. It's not a perfect movie. I'm not going to pretend like it is, but it's got everything that I love in it. It's a more modern day Western. I mean, modern day since it was set 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. But it's got all the tropes that I love. It's got shoot 'em up. It's got the great fucking soundtrack. I will argue that this is probably the best Walter Hill soundtrack.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there probably with Warriors, maybe Southern Comfort,
mm-hmm.
but it's at least the top three. Bruce Willis is at the height of Bruce Willisdom. He's total Bruce Willie mode in this movie. He kind of he has a little bit more charisma in this than our secondary movie we're going to be doing here tonight. It's got great bad guys, although I feel like it's lacking in the Christopher Walken department. But I remember seeing this, in the theaters when it came out in 95, 96. I was just fresh out of high school, so I'm dating myself here. But I saw it solo. I was the only person in the fucking theater, and it was a shame because it's a great spectacle to behold on the big screen. I will say that it hasn't aged as well. Revisiting it after all these years, I kind of noticed imperfections, pacing issues, and whatnot. But it really doesn't make me love the movie any less. It's top tier Walter Hill for me for sure.
You button dum dum. Lee, what are your initial thoughts, sir?
So this is a first time watch through for me. I have seen little bits and pieces, and I knew, oh yes, it's a remake of Yojimbo, Fistful of Dollars, or if you even want to go back and super nerdy about it, Red Harvest, the Dashiell Hammett novel, which this actually I think is set in the same era that novel originally came from. The novel was written in 29, so yes, we're Prohibition sort of times. So that's kind of cool. I like that Walter Hill decided, you know what, I'll stick it in basically around the same time frame as the actual Red Harvest novel. I'll signify that, yes, this is both a Western and also this is a modern Western, because there's the opening of the film where Bruce Willis comes into town in his car and he passes by a dead horse on the fucking street. So it's oh, there's the cowboy days. Those are gone. We're modernizing a little bit, even though we're basically in a backlot cowboy set, whatever, right? It's just,
if it wasn't for the couple of cars, this could easily been an old Western town.
Yeah. Cameron mentioned it already. The score does so much to set the tone and mood in this one. The Roy Cooder score just is amazing in this. It sounds like what Robert Rodriguez's scores would come to sound like a little bit. Honestly, it's kind of that same bombast that he would do in Machete and Planet Terror and stuff like that when he started I'm just going to start doing my own music in my films. Fuck it. I kind of like how the film looks. It's very it's a little bit sepia toned, but it goes full sepia whenever there's a dust storm around. It just it makes it look like an old photograph from that era, something like that. It does the Yojimbo Fistful of Dollars story pretty well. I think when we get into it, we'll talk about it. I think it's a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. I feel like Walter Hill maybe overthought how much he had to do to remake this film.
Yeah, definitely.
And I definitely got to agree with Cameron too. Christopher Walken was a disappointment in this, not because he sucked in it, but just because the film really didn't use him as much as it should have. I think it takes half the film for him to show up.
Right, and then he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and it's kind of there's too many characters. If anything, I feel like Walter Hill should have trimmed this down even more. So, but it just feels like there's 8,000 villains that Bruce Willis has to contend with, and poor Christopher Walken has to also contend with it. I mean, he tries his best. He's really great in this, but he is just so put in the background for most of it that I'm like, why are you doing this? This is Bruce Willis at the height of his powers. This is Christopher Walken, arguably at the height of his powers as well, before he just became, every movie he's in, he's Christopher Walken. This is Christopher Walken still doing really interesting, big character work. But he's got to compete with 800 other really great actors in this, all doing big, broad character work in this film that's very over the top in a lot of ways. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I think I'm with Gary where I'd say this is more of a middle of the pack Walter Hill film for me. But for a first time watch, I was not disappointed overall. I thought it was pretty good.
It's so strange that you brought that up. So many great characters and so many great character arcs. Working together but doing too much at the same time. You're not wrong, because at the end of the day, David Patrick Kelly as Doyle is a much bigger character than Christopher Walken.
Right.
And this is 1996 Christopher Walken, to where he's a much bigger star than anybody in this movie about, with the exception of Bruce Willis. You know,
Right.
Could be utilized a little bit more, but I think it's kind of like when we discussed Code of Silence on one of the Patreon bonus ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the minimal Henry Silva in that movie was kind of enough for me. It just kind of like, yeah, you see some, you know, but at the same time, you know who's in charge at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't get that. You didn't get that so much with the Italian gang, which, you know, I have Irish and Italian blood in me, so I guess I'm conflicted.
Same here too. I felt my inner WAP was just like cringing at all, like the dinner scene. Like, holy shit! Like the Goomba in me was just like, what the fuck? Like even Bruce Willis at that point is like, yeah, I like garlic. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, but the crazy it felt, you know, not anything unto itself, like a video game for Bruce Willis in a lot of ways, because, you know, they're carrying around like revolvers and Tommy guns, and which were, if you know anything about Tommy guns, they were faulty as it is. They would jam constantly, but there's never jam in this movie, of course. But he's carrying around these two I forget what kind of guns he has, but they're not 6-shooters like most of these guys have in this movie.
They're like I think they're military issue Colts.
Yeah, I think they were Colt 45s, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, mentioning the weapons here, it's an interesting point here that Walter Hill does, because he's got to upgrade everything, right? Because it's set in a modern era in America, whereas, you know, and this is speaking more to like looking at Yojimbo specifically, and having to like modernize from that film, because in Yojimbo you have the character that Christopher Walken is playing in this film. He shows up. He's the big bad guy. He's the antagonist that's going to fight Toshiro Mifune, and he's got an advantage throughout the entire film because he's got a gun, or at least it seems like he has an advantage because he actually has a gun that he's been using to kill people with. He doesn't have to use fucking swords. He doesn't have to have a sword duel with Toshiro Mifune. So it feels like, okay, he's a real threat. In this film, everyone's got fucking guns. So what do? They up it by giving Christopher Walken a crazy ass Tommy gun that he just like unloads on people indiscriminately. So I thought that was a really nice move on Walter Hill's part there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you're bad guy, you're good guy. They have the best guns compared to the other guys. It just seems inferior because where they're trying to, like, you know, blow away our hero or whatever you want to call him, our shyster, is unloading these fucking Colts on people. Yeah, walks in a room and kills 10 people, and, you know, no matter what he is, he shoots them. And you can't see my chat, maybe you can. My name is Projectile Corpse because every time he would hit, right, one or two times he would hit somebody, they would like fly like 10 feet back because his gun is so powerful. And in a way, I appreciate. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate like the cartoon violence in that sense. In this way, you know, not you know, all the time, but it works here. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, like when he kills Patrick Kilpatrick, when John Smith rolls into town and they bust up his car, you know, kind of mirroring the you know, fistful of dollars scene when, you know, they shoot at his mule. He fires at that guy. He flies 10 feet to the door, and then another 20 feet out the door, gets sent asshole over apple cart and twists and turns. It's just like, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, but it, like, I can't help but love it. I gotta, you know, it's so weird to watch.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I didn't see anything like any interviews or read anything that hinted that Walter Hill was kind of like, hey, you know, those Hong Kong films that have been going on the last 5 years or so that are really popular now. There's a lot of that in those. So maybe I'll throw a little bit of Hong Kong spice, a little bit of Chow Yun Fat into my film, because that's what it felt like to me when I was watching. It was either that or at the very least Albert Pune. It had a real feel of that to me. just the gunplay and how cool it's shot and how it's made to look like a really cool like dance almost. It's not as excessive as like and dramatic as the stuff that's in like a Hong Kong shoot 'em up, but it definitely approaches it to some degree.
Yeah, it's like as if John Woo directed a movie with Sergio Leone. You know, is this like it's got the epic kind of westerny kind of feel to everything, because you would not be surprised to see a guy riding in on horseback just in the middle of this movie.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's got definitely the Hong Kong John Woo Chow Yun-fat kind of, you know, stylistic impression on it.
Yeah.
Like mixing the old style with the new style, you know. Yeah, I'm liking this film better. I'm liking this film better now, guys. You're convincing me, you know.
Well, I mean, the whole film's perpetually caught between two worlds. Like we're saying, how he walks into this western town and sees a dead horse, and there's all these cars and guns and stuff. So it's like it's the transition between two eras, really, because like a lot of it took a while for like America to get out of the West and the frontier and all that shit. Like there was still a lot of that hanging around on the fringes for a couple decades or whatever. But so like, you know, it gives the place a little bit of a timeless feel. Anything can happen. And he just gets to play in that little sandbox that he's created there. I think if I want to get into like the big negative that I have with this film, it's the narration. I did not need it. Now I understand that like it works as okay, this is the noir protagonist giving you his inner thoughts or whatever, and that works great in a pulp novel or whatever. But I think in this film it kind of goes against helping the film, just like the narration for Blade Runner does. I got the same kind of vibes.
Thank you for saying that. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, I feel this just goes to my point that I feel like Walter Hill tried a little too hard to write this film. Like, I know I read somewhere that he was like, originally he was pushing against the idea of doing this film, because like, how do you remake like Yojimbo or Fistful of Dollars and make it good and interesting and different? And I think maybe he tried a little too hard to do that, when I feel like maybe stripping it down would have worked even better. But in this case, there's like too many characters. There's a little too much subplot stuff and character moment stuff going on that's like very distracting. And so then that narration comes in. I wonder if the narration was part of the actual writing from Walter Hill, or if someone came in behind and said, this movie doesn't make any sense. You got too much going on and you're not explaining it. Have Bruce Willis come into the booth afterwards and ADR some fucking narration on this. I didn't read that anywhere, but it felt like that. It felt like one of those movies where it's like the producers looked at it and said, what in the fuck is this? We need to explain this to our audience if we're going to sell this movie. So get back in there in the booth and write something. And it doesn't work. I could have done without the narration. But then again, I'm a person who knows fucking Yojimbo and Fistful of Dollars from back to front, right? So maybe the movie was not intended for me. It was for like newbies who maybe had never seen those movies. I don't know.
Hey, I did feel like that was like a post-production decision. Like they had like a bad test screening and just decided to add in the narration. I wonder what a version of this would be like without the narration. I think it would heighten it immensely.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite things about this film is, you know, the way Bruce Willis just gets rid of people. Like he has the women, the I don't want to call her a whore, but Leslie Mann's character, the way he gets rid of her, it's like, hey, you're in trouble, you know. Here's some bus fare. Now, why didn't he give bus fare to the Doyle's Spanish honey and say, hey, here's the only bus out of town. Here you go, honey. You know.
I think at that point they had caught on to what he was doing, right? And so maybe he felt, especially since, you know, fucking David Patrick Kelly in this is like this obsessed, like lovelorn crazy who like would do anything to get her back. What's her Karina Lombard? He'll do anything to get her back and keep her. So he probably would have had everyone like his thugs just like on every bus terminal in the fucking state, right? Just looking for her. So I guess he had to get a little bit more stealthy with it. But yeah,
that makes sense. I could see that
because it's a big part of the plot.
He was running it off.
It's a big plot. It's a big plot point where, like, it becomes like, I've got to get her back. I've got to get her back. Like David Patrick Kelly's just like obsessing over her. It becomes way more of a big plot point in this version of the story than in any of the other ones.
Yeah, he was running them in pretty fast though with this movie because that's a big sell for this movie is how big of a established action star Bruce Willis is, and kind of takes him and puts him in this world. And I don't think he's ever done like a Western type thing before, and he fits right in, which surprised the hell out of me. And going toe to toe with Bruce Dern, who's a great character in this film. I mean, he didn't have much to do in Wild Bill, but it's kind of like a return to form in the Walter Hill oeuvre of Bruce Dern, giving him a lot more to do in this movie. So I can appreciate that. Him as the corrupt / sympathetic sheriff. He's kind of really on the fringe there. Like, I'll help you now, but fuck you before, man.
It's like things have gotten too bad now, and now I got no choice but to help you because I'm backed into a corner.
Yeah,
like if he hadn't been backed into that corner.
Yeah, he picks his shots, right? Like he's essentially a coward at heart who's just like, I go with the flow. Whatever is best for me is what I'll back, basically, kind of thing. He doesn't try to upset any fucking fruit carts in anybody's yard or whatever. That's not even a saying. I just made that up right there. But
it doesn't upset the apple cart, I think.
That's what I'm thinking. I always fuck these up.
I don't know where the fuck that phrase came from. How I even know it.
I always fuck these things up when I come to like think about them just like live on air. Every other time I can fucking say it in real life, but when I'm recording a podcast, I'm like, no, that's not it. Why are you such a fucking idiot? But
it's the pressure, man, the pressure.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Bruce Dern gets a lot more to do in this. He's fun, and he's kind of an amalgamation of some of the characters from previous iterations of this, because like the sort of like town sheriff is just like totally corrupt in other versions of this, where in this one he's both corrupt, but he's also like a version of the coffin maker from the other iterations of the story that sort of side with the innkeeper character that back our protagonist, whereas in this one the coffin maker is presented as like he doesn't even get a line or anything in this film. We just see him like through the window of the shop smiling as more coffins kind of pile in, like he's a representation of death or something.
He's not given much to do.
Yeah. So again, it goes to like this heightened reality of this film where it's like some of it feels a little, non-realistic, outside of just the crazy action stuff, where it's like, is there something a little bit mystical going on in the background? Like, is like the coffin maker a representation, like a personification of death, just sort of watching the bodies drop and he's just collecting the corpses or whatever? Because the coffin maker in other versions of this, with like Fistful of Dollars and Yojimbo, presented as a comedy character, a comedy sidekick character. And it's it's the gallows humor of more coffins for you here soon, that kind of thing. So it's definitely dynamically a lot differently written by Walter Hill for this version.
One of my more favorite Mel Brooks jokes is the men in tights, where the executioner is measuring their necks for the noose, and it works very well in this film too, with the height of the coffin thing. Another version, but more comedic versions of this, almost like measuring them up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we can't forget about William Sanderson.
Yeah, but this
movie. He is such fucking gold, and you always expect him to be a sniveling little bastard, which he is kind of a sniveling little bastard in this one. But he's not crooked. He's like the one kind of, I don't want to use the term virtuous, because he's not virtuous, because he's running a bar, and he's like running off the the scraps of the skeleton of this fucking one horse town, or no horse town, as we're seen by the intro. but like he is just given like his all in this performance, and especially with the ending, like how he plays out in that ending when he breaks out that big 6-shooter, and I'm just like,
yeah, he's playing the innkeeper character. Like the innkeeper character in other versions of the story is usually like a more like wise, like quiet character who's like, you need to get the fuck out of town. Like he still kind of does that in this, but it's like he's much more like always trying to get our protagonist out of town, always trying to like just leave because you're just making things worse. He's a guy who doesn't want to upset the balance of power. He just wants to like duck his head down and let things play out. Whereas William Sanderson here, he's a little bit more crazed. Like he feels like he's a little like the stress of everything that's been going on has kind of snapped him a little bit. But he's no coward. He's not like Bruce Dern's character. He plays the same game kind of as Bruce Dern's character, where it's like, I kind of go with the flow. I kind of, I don't stick my neck out for anybody to chop it off. But he's not a vindictive, like he's not a person who's like manipulating people and manipulating sides for his own gain. He's just he's a lot more just self-preservation, and that's it. But
he's just trying to exist. He's just trying to live, by any means necessary. Not by like, wouldn't say like by hook or crook, but he's just concentrated on self-preservation.
Yeah.
But from like when he gets to the,
even in the, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said even in the end, to where he finally gets a shot up and kills somebody. There's literally like 3 people left to kill. He's like, yeah, I got one of them.
When he's just like, no, I'm all done. I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah.
It's like I just wanted to say that I contributed.
Yeah. And speaking of Christopher Walken, even though he doesn't get enough to do, I do love his performance. I do love that they scar him up, and it's like I guess he got like an ice pick to the fucking voice box or something, so he can only kind of like talk in a kind of a whisper for the most part, like a really kind of raspy whisper. And he does give a really menacing performance. Like he does his best with what little he's given to do.
His backstory just paints such a grim fucking picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love the character so much. That backstory, when we talk about they tell you about those little kids, burning up like birthday candles, and it's like, oh shit, dude, you're harboring some shit there, man.
Yeah, he's really good. And I think Bruce Willis carries this film really well. I mean, he honestly, as much as like, he's never really been in a Western before or whatever, he carries this kind of this sort of like throwback actor kind of persona pretty well. Like I feel like he spent his entire career trying to be Charles Bronson, and he does a pretty good job. Like you could see Bronson doing this, like in the 80s or something like that, or especially like in the 70s. Same kind of like understated, quiet performance. That's kind of what when Bruce Willis is at his best, he's kind of doing that, and you can tell he's at least sort of gives a shit in this one compared to like. Honestly, he's right on the tipping point of not giving a shit anymore. Like, I feel like the next couple years, you rarely see a movie where he gives two fucks. Well, he just comes in for the paycheck, and that's about it. But here he's doing pretty good. I like, and he's not afraid to have his persona, get played with, because he just like with Clint Eastwood and Fistful of Dollars and Toshiro Mifune and Yojimbo, gets the ever living shit kicked out of him. Like his face is hamburger at the end of this film.
Oh, they knock his dick right in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bronson, Bruno, one of the same, right?
Yeah.
See, to get that joke, you got to go way back in the 80s, in the old times, is you realize that Bruce Willis had a singing career at one point in time, and, that's what he called himself,
Yeah, Bruno. Yeah, I know. I feel like, I don't want to speak ill of a man who is now quite ill, and it's kind of a sad story, the state he's in now. But Yeah, it seemed like Bruce Willis seemed to have like a much higher opinion of himself than probably what was warranted back in the day. He had a persona that he put on, but at the same time, a lot of the sort of actors he was trying to be like, those sort of tough guy actors that all sort of faded out throughout the 70s and 80s, and definitely kind of almost totally disappeared by the 90s. He's kind of a throwback to that, and they all kind of had like tough guy personas. They had a bit of a gimmick going on, So I'm not gonna fault him too much for that.
Yeah, they all have an
Well, sometimes.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Cam.
No, I was just going to say that they all have a persona to uphold.
Mm-hmm.
An image, if you will, that they want to project. It's just like modern day action stars, like Statham or The Rock. They like can only get punched so many times in a fight. They can't lose the fight. But like this is back in the day, when Bruce Willis fucking he almost lost his shit in this movie. I mean, he like you said, he got pounded into Hamburger Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Clint Eastwood in this one. They had I think it was part of the character arc was showing that he was not faulty, but he had faults. He was an alcoholic. He had a weak spot for women, and even Bruce Dern, the sheriff the crooked sheriff at one point even says, when you go down, you're going to go down over a skirt.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right.
Yep.
But when the chips are down, guys, at the end of the day, when you're all beaten and bloodied from being beaten by Irish gangsters, you have to respect yourself, okay? Like he sings in the song.
That's the weirdest segue I've ever heard.
I mean,
you're welcome, okay?
Man, yeah. I don't know where to go from there other than, I definitely like this a lot. It's not my favorite Walter Hill. Like I said, I think it's, middle of the pack, trending upward. It's definitely, a lot of people kind of look down on Walter Hill's later movies. This definitely counts as one of his better later movies, I'd say. Like, I think it maybe is a little bit better than, say, like Geronimo and maybe even a little bit better than Wild Bill. It's a lot more fun, that's for sure. So yeah, pretty good, pretty decent.
Yeah, I call this one like I call like In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter. Mm-hmm. He made good movies after this, but this was probably his last great movie.
Okay.
And this is my opinion. He's definitely done good stuff since this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I think this is not the first, but the last movie that like teetered on the edge of greatness.
Fair enough.
I just want to see the fucking director's cut, the work print of this that I've read about for years.
Yeah, it seems like every time we do one of his movies now, it's like, oh, by the way, there's this like 4-hour version out there somewhere. That's like, okay, where is that then, please? Where's the like 2.5 hour, 3-hour version of Extreme Prejudice? Give me more of that. I'd watch that for 3 hours. Perfect.
Yeah, I'd watch that one back to back with this one. Like, why can't Arrow Video or Vinegar Syndrome, find that shit?
Yeah, stop picking up like bullshit from the 70s and no one's heard of that no one ever wanted to watch. Vinegar Syndrome. Give me a fucking Extreme Prejudice 3-hour cut or whatever. I might pick up one of your fucking discs.
Yes. Yeah, this is yeah, I agree with you, Bill. This is not mid tier. I'd say teetering on 3/4 tier. Yeah, I guess you would call it to the top. Walter Hill, I enjoy myself a lot more with this conversation that we had about it because I get an education from Lee all the time. And I appreciate you, brother, every time it happens because this is how I learn things.
Oh well, everything I say is opinion more than anything else. Don't take anything as gospel, but
praise Jeebus.
Oh, Jeebus. You mentioned the part where he's rehabilitating himself after getting his ass beat and he's learning how to shoot again. It's amazing how many films have adapted and borrowed that scene. I just watched the RoboDoc, the 5-hour documentary about RoboCop, and there's even that point in that movie where after he gets busted up and Lewis is trying to teach him how to line up his shot again. It's almost the same thing.
Oh yeah,
it just kind of it has that feeling to it,
Oh, RoboCop's a fucking western. It totally is. It's so much as like even the fucking music, the fucking the score is very like bombastic, almost like 1950s ish Western in a lot of the ways it plays out.
Mm-hmm. That's a fun documentary, by the way, guys. It's on Prime right now in the States, and you want to hear fucking how emasculating and fucking crazy Paul Verhoeven is, just calling women bitches all the time in that thing. Just watch RoboDoc. It's real fine, you know.
Yeah, I love me some Verhoeven, but he is a very you got to take him with a grain of salt. He's a very problematic fellow, but he's a genius.
Well, it's not all Verhoeven. I mean, everybody's in it, so I recommend checking it out. Listen to good old Kurtwood Smith getting into character and stuff. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, Kurtwood. Kurtwood is great in that. Bitches leave.
Oh my gosh! But
that's all right. Yeah, you can keep the gum.
And that was his wife. That was his wife in real life as a secretary. You know?
No shit. But, no shit.
That works.
Yeah,
that makes it fun.
I digress, though. I come towards the end of this one, and I will hand the reins to Cameron to say any final thoughts on Last Man Standing. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, I know I talked down about it a little bit at the beginning, you know, saying that it hadn't aged well for me. It's just pacing issues. And, like, I love me some Christopher Walken. He's my favorite, like, villainous kind of character actor. And I just wish this movie had more of him. I want to know more about Hickey, about, you know, his early days. I want to know about, like, the mission that he was on that, you know, that made him disappear for the first half of the film, you know, and something about him, man, he was ghostly in this movie. He seemed like almost he was sick, like he was like eaten away from the inside.
He has that, man. There's a couple moments where he gives this like fucking 10-mile like dead stare at people, where he just stops and he's like gawking at people with that fucked up face, and it's pretty haunting. Like when they go down to look for Michael Imperioli in Mexico or whatever. And he sees him with that what Texas Ranger or crooked whatever that he's hiding out with.
Yeah.
He just gives this stare, and I was like, "What in the fuck is going on right there?" Like that.
You wouldn't want him looking at you like that.
There's something deeper going on than just like Walter Hill's writing there. Like there's a real like method performance something going on there from Walken that it's just very, very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Christopher Walken in this. If there's any reason my final thoughts are in this movie is you show up for Bruce Willis, you stay for Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. It's got a lot of action. It's even though it has some pacing issues, it's never boring. It's always engaging. Everything is framed super well. You can practically like taste the dust as you're watching it. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's a great film. It's really top. You know, I've said this already, but it's really top tier Walter Hill for me. And I still love this movie. Like I said, it's come down a little bit in age. You know, with my older self watching it, it's not as exciting as it was when I was in my 20s. But it's a great film.
You muted yourself again, Gary.
I thought I said, Lee, what's your final thoughts, sir?
I think I pretty much gave them all. I'm pretty much on board saying that I like it a lot. I give it a recommendation. I still think it's kind of, you know, like mid-tier, but, you know, sort of hinting upwards as far as Walter Hill stuff goes. But I liked it a lot. Like, you know, it's a very good version of Red Harvest, Yojimbo, Fistful of Dollars. It's a very well done version of that story. If you know that story, you're probably going to enjoy this. It has enough differences and a different setting, and it's fun. The material's good. All the actors in it are good. Everything's just it flows along pretty well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. If anything, it's just a little overwritten, and maybe there's a few too many characters. Like again, it would have been better if they had pared it down a little bit and maybe just make Christopher Walken like the real central focus as the villain. That probably would have played a little bit better, I think. But don't let the fact that the budget was $67 million and it only made $47 million dissuade you from giving it a shot. Like a lot of Walter Hill's films, as we've documented, were not box office winners, but as it turns out, a lot of them are still like really well done movies and worth watching. And I'd say this one is.
Yeah, me personally, I enjoy my time with it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like Lee said, a big red flag of the film is too much characters and too much stuff going on with those characters. And I guess the ones that are developed, I don't want to say developed well, but some are more profound than others. And your villain in the film is not as profound as some of those other side characters, even William Sanderson or Bruce Dern or even Dave Patrick Kelly. Your box office draw, the man, maybe he had a cold, but when it was time for the shooting schedule to come up, I don't know. Maybe that's why they gave him less to do. We'll never know until there's a commentary or something that comes out. But I think it hurts the film as far as that goes. But a great time nonetheless. I have a great time with it and great revisit. I would watch again for sure, just to have fun with Bruce, being the leading man that he's established to be, and will even with the garbage, will forever be a great leading man in most people's eyes. He can carry a film, and he helped carry that load this time, but with a lot of other great character actors in this film, holding the reins for him to say, okay, step back, and I know we're going to shine. And that's a big strength of the film that he gave, with Bruce's ego, which is large at this point. He gave these older actors a chance to shine. And I can appreciate that about this film. So good times, man.
Yeah.
But that's it for this one. Next up on the main feed, as they say, is a film that I saw in theaters. This is a sci-fi effort called Supernova.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, that comes next. Starring...
I have a confession to make.
Sleazy...
I have a confession.
What's up?
I have never seen Supernova. Never seen
with the cast, it should be really, really good. James Spader, Peter Fasinelli when he was still pretty, hot as an actor, Robin Tunney, Angela Bassett, Robert Forster, Lou Diamond Phillips. You think this could be a solid sci-fi film, and I would want it to be a solid sci-fi film, but I don't remember it too fondly. I'll put it that way. It's just
yeah, I don't either. I saw it once.
Yeah, it just flew under the radar for me. I just never got a chance to see it, and it's just consistently for the last 20, 25 years, it's just, like I said, flown under the radar. So I'm looking forward to, no matter how bad it is or how good or bad it is, I'm looking forward to it.
I may like it better this time. We're going to find out, though. Yeah. So the next one on the main feed is Supernova from 2000. But over on the Patreon, if you guys listen to this now, a day or so later, if this comes out, you can go check out another stab at Yojimbo, starring, the 94 years grizzled now Clint Eastwood and a fistful of dollars. The first one in the A Man with No Name trilogy, where it's kind of like and we'll get into it, but it's good stuff. But yeah, next time Supernova. If you support the Legion Patreon, thank you very, very much. And that's it. This has been Last Call of Torchies, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Adios.